welcome to Sage Butterfly Designs. I'm Penny. I planned on going live today. I thought it would be fun to do a kit with me and do it live. So I go onto YouTube, I click on the create, I click on the live button, and it tells me that within 24 hours I'll be approved to go on to do the live. Okay, guess we'll be recording this instead. So I don't think I really told it. I only told one person, I think, that I was going to go live. So it shouldn't be a disappointment to too many people. And Karen, the needle bug, she's the one I told. She goes through enough of her own technical issues, and I'm sure she understands. So, kitting with me. That's what we're doing today. So, I am kitting up one or two designs for my retreat. Not this upcoming week, but the next week. I'll be leaving out next Saturday. Spend a little bit of time with my son. Get to meet Karen and do the retreat. So I'm really looking forward to it. It should be a really good time. But I wanted to kit up a couple extra things because, you know, don't have enough to do. So I am kitting up this one. I loved this one. I know I talked about it last time. My last video when I showed it to you. Although my last video went all funky and for some reason went and stayed in a small format. But it's got an owl, it's got the sunflowers, a pumpkin, the apples. It's gonna be perfect for like August through November. I love it. So I decided I wanted to go ahead and get started on that. That's gonna be my retreat start. I'm going to put it on this fabric. Probably should get the thing down. Let's try it like, oops, wrong way, Penny. Let's try this again. So it's this fabric, kind of the marbling gray effect. So that is the fabric I'm putting it on. And I just thought I would chat with you while I kitted up my threads for it. So you see I've got my pattern picked and the fabric. So now I just need to, I'm taking all my fabrics that are on bobbins, there we go, on bobbins, off of the bobbins, because I don't like the bobbinating. I don't like taking off a piece, putting it back on, having that little, taking two strands off of it, having to peel the two strands apart and then put them in the little. Once I saw from Teresa Little Stitcher how easy it was to have them in like a drop to where you can just grab what you want out of it, I was like, oh, we are done with bobbins. So I do have a few bobbins that I'm going to be converting over to the new method. And then I've got a few regular skeins that I'll be putting on here as well. I decided to go with the bobbins. They look like bobbins from Adam Hart Design. I'm sorry, Adam Hart. These ones are the clear ones I also have, which are this one. But most of the ones I'm going to be using today are the dark ones. And the only reason is because I got the dark ones on some kind of a clearance sale they were doing. So I got double the amount of bobbins for like still less than regular price. So I ended up getting like 4 batches of the black at the price of 1 of the clear. So I had to go for that. So yeah, that's why I have black ones now, but that's okay. I've also found that even with the clear ones, my number here, I'm having a hard time reading it when it's in the case. But I like this because you've got your drop feature. So when they're on my clip, I can use it as the drop and pull my one thread out at a time. If I have like, you know, my threads are from here to here length, which you'll see when I'm doing it. But the if I only use like, you know, a piece of it and I've got a piece left, I can put it on this side. That way I don't have to pull another piece out or waste a piece. I can put it right there. And then when I'm wanting to store them, I didn't want to deal with the hanging part of the other. So you can just take it like this. And ta-da, you can store it like a bobbin. So stores like a bobbin, but works like a drop. Perfect. Because when I was first started out with the drops, I was like, and how do I store these things? So then it was like, well, do I put them in baggies? Well, then trying to flip through those bags and yeah, no. So this works out perfectly. Perfect solution. At least it is for me. At least it is for right now. It could change, right? Like Karen says, never say never, because, you know, no. I did get the Pip and Chip foam inserts to line them up in. So I do have those. And I got the Beasley. You can see it over there. Right there. On the stand there, and it just holds, it's 5 drawers, and it holds the bobbinated threads. I'm going to use the top 3 for the bobbinated ones, and then the lower 2 are going to be for my specialty thread. So I'll put the silk ones and some of the specialty ones in the bottom 2 drawers, but the top 3 will be DMC on the new bobbins. And I'm just kind of, as I kit projects up, I'm changing over the bobbins. So right now I still have the old-fashioned clear containers with some in there to pull out until I'm ready to kit it up onto something else. I might eventually like just pull them out, and maybe this winter when things are slowed down and stuff, I can do it then. But for now, we're gonna go with this. So let me write down my number. Give me just a second. So I thought I would have I was hoping to be live so that I could actually have people like talking to me and it not just be me blabbling away, but that didn't happen. I have retreat, I told you that. I'm very excited about that. This is going to be my first retreat. I've never been to a retreat before. So this is going to be a new adventure. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm paying for it this weekend. My husband said, well, since I'm taking a week off and taking off, he was like, well, I'm going to go fishing. And he goes fish camping, I call it. They go out to an island on the lake, and him and his best friend, and they do this camping thing on the island, and then they fish during the day, and then they camp out and do guy camping stuff in the evenings. That's what he likes to do, and that's fine. I'm a hotel girl. I don't want to be out camping with bugs and stuff. That's not my idea of fun at all. So he goes with his friend and does that. So I was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to get so much done this weekend because, you know, nobody to what's for dinner, when are we doing this, hey, I want to do this, let's go look at that, you know. We're looking to replace our porch furniture, so that's the thing where it's like, it seems like every other weekend we're going to different porch stores to find porch furniture or something, I don't know. But at any rate, so having the weekend to myself and not having anyone pulling me in different directions or telling me what they feel like eating or not eating or when or whatever. It's nice to have a weekend to yourself. So I was like, well, this is going to be awesome. I can get so much done. And I have. I did finally decorate for fall. Yeah. October 15th, and I just decorated for fall. It has been crazy. I know my last video I told you about the hurricane and COVID, and I was gone the first part of September on vacation. All right, sorry for the blip there. I had my screensaver came on and ruined the recording. So the fun continues. All right, so I don't remember exactly what I was saying. I think I was talking about just how it's taken me forever to decorate for fall. It's finally decorated. So seeing as I decorated for fall, I was like, you know, I'm going to do some FFO work. Yeah. Yeah. Been showing you these finishes, and then I hadn't completely finished them. I think I have to give up and put on my glasses, people. I'm having a hard time seeing what I'm doing. So I did some FFOs today. So you'll see them in my next video on Tuesday when I do my regular video. So I will have that done then. So I'll be showing those. Don't get too excited. It's not that great. The framed one is, because I know how to frame. The other ones I tried to be creative with, and they're okay for me. Oh my goodness. But that's okay. Y'all can laugh with me. Not at me. With me. Because I think it's pretty amusing. So it's all good, right? Gotta try new things. But, oh, that's what I was saying. My husband took his break this weekend, and I thought I was going to get a lot done. And I have been, like I said, I got my FFOs. I did some FFO work, and I did some work on, I got my fall decorations up. I even got a couple of, I don't know, I don't use markup, I use good notes, so I don't know the number of stitches. By the looks of it, I would say somewhere around 200, maybe 300 stitches in Catitude. One of my full coverages. I hadn't touched it all last month. I hadn't touched it since August. I started it in August, and then I didn't touch it again. So I was happy to get some stitches in that. I did that yesterday, and then I was binge watching a show. I was actually watching season 1 again because it'd been so long, and now season 2 is out, so I was like, I'll watch 1 again. So I was binge watching a Netflix show. It's called Fate, the Winx Saga, something like that. It's called Fate. It's about fairies. At any rate, I went ahead and I watched that last night while I was doing some stitching on, since I can't stitch, since the TV is in, obviously, the living room, and I usually stitch in the front room. So my husband can have the TV, and I can stitch in peace, and I watch my little YouTube videos or floss tube videos, and I listen to an audio book, or I don't really need the TV. So very rarely do I. If I really want to watch something on Netflix, I'll just put it on my mobile device and use it that way. But I was actually out in the living room with the big TV watching that series. And so I don't have as good of light or my magnifier or anything, and I didn't want to move everything out to the living room. So I was stitching on just a 14 count aida so that I could easily see it. I was actually working on those, the Autumn Petites. I don't know if you remember them or not, but you'll see the works in progress on Tuesday, so you'll remember it then. But yeah, so I was working on that. So that was something fun and different, because I usually don't stitch out in the living room too much. So I was doing that. But the mornings are the worst. In the evenings, he's not too bad. In the mornings, a little bit, the pup. He gets, I give up. I'm going to put on my glasses so I can see what I'm doing up close. Sorry, y'all. Just going to have to see me in my glasses. So, woohoo! All right. Because I can't see otherwise. I'm trying to see where the breaks are in these things, and I couldn't see them. In the evenings, he's not too bad. But in the mornings, oh my goodness. I usually take an hour or two of stitch time in the morning. I didn't get no stitch time this morning. Usually my husband's watching a little bit for me, or taking care of him, or taking him outside the 100 times. He's bell trained, which is awesome, because when you're in the other room, he rings the bell, you hear him, and you're like, oh, okay, he needs out. So he rings his bell, And I would say about 95% of the time he at least has to pee. But the game he likes to play is he wants to go out and pee, and then he wants to be all like, oh, I'm done. I need to come inside and I need a treat. Yeah. So we come in and we get our treat and get our good boys and everything. Because, you know, he's still young enough. You guys still give him lots of praise for that. And so you do all the good boys and everything. And then sit down, take 2 more sips of my coffee, look at Facebook or whatever, and ding-a-ling-a-ling, the bell again. But weren't you just out? Now, if he's just trying to get my attention, he'll come running up to me and just want to play. It's like, okay, it was a fake ring. Gotcha. But if he hits the bell again, then it's like, okay, it's a serious ring. So at that point, go ahead and let him out. And he doesn't go out by himself because he's too little for that. He's still a little bit nervous about being out in the yard. He wants you to be out there with him. So it's like, all right, so go out in the yard with him again. This time he's going to do, you know, his other eliminations. And of course, wants another treat. And yes, he's spoiled enough that he gets it. So he does that. And then we go through and it's like, okay, I get busy going through Facebook, texting somebody, doing whatever it is I was doing. And there goes the bell again. And again. And it's like, oh my goodness. And I know, I'm like, okay, I just fed him breakfast, so okay, he has to go out again. We come back in. Listen to him drink like a whole container full of water practically, or at least it sounds like it's that much. Gotta go out again. So, my morning stitching didn't happen because I had little bit duty. Let's come get a lot of stitching done on retreat, so it's okay. It'll work out. My husband deserves some time off as well, so I don't mind. Got a wedding this evening, so I don't have complete time to myself at any rate, so that's fine. But I've had some crazy weddings this past week. It has been challenging, some of them. So I'm looking forward to the break so that I can take a deep breath. See my son again, even though I just saw him last month. That's okay. Never have too much seeing him. But see my son and his wife. Don't really have any plans other than just seeing them, hanging out, that kind of thing. And set up a meeting at a local needle shop with Karen Needlebug, local for her, since I'll be in her neck of the woods. And then I have retreat. I'm actually going to get there a day early and hang out and start doing some of my stitching. Just relax. Maybe find some different needlework stores, or even go to might even treat myself to a massage. That'd be nice. So I might do that. But we'll see what the week brings. I'm looking forward to it though. I've never been to one. I'm hoping it's all that others make them out to be. So, a little nervous. Everyone always tells me don't be. There's a lot of other newbies that are going to be at this one from what I've seen on the Facebook groups. So that'll be good. Let's see here. What else I got to say to y'all? Oh, I can tell you about some of my crazy weddings. So I only do elopements. So an elopement is considered 6 people for me. That way they can have, a couple people with them, whether they be friends or parents or something like that. I'm not gonna say couple only. I give them a discount if it's couple only, because it does work. I don't have to worry about anybody else being late showing up, can't find the location, whatever. Also, when it's couple only, they're more relaxed. If they have guests, they're worried about their guests instead of worrying just about each other, their photos, enjoying their moment. So I prefer couple only, but an elopement for me is 6 people. So I'm not going to charge them extra for having a couple people with them. I do let them have up to 12. They have to pay a little bit more for that because it is more work for me. With gathering people being late, getting the different group photos taken, all that kind of stuff. So I do allow up to 12 people. Or we're talking very small, low key. Lately I've been getting the bride to want to think that their little elopement is something that needs to be featured in Weddings R Us magazine or something. So it's I need this, I need that, I'm going to set up all these decorations, I try to warn them. I know Pinterest will show you a beautiful picture of a white beach with absolutely nothing on it and no people on it, and it's just this romantic thing, and you've got this beautiful arbor, and you've got the flowers are just and it's this beautiful scene, and yes, beach wedding, that's what they want. And then they see these pictures on Pinterest and they want to do that. And I try to tell them the beaches are not pristine. There's going to be the water line. And with that water line is old seaweed or whatever. It's not the perfect pristine beach that they are imagining. I also explained to them the idea of wind. I don't know where those pictures are taken on Pinterest where there's no wind, because our beaches, at least our beaches, are windy. A calm day is winds of about 5 to 8 miles per hour, which doesn't sound like much, except there's on the beach, there's nothing to break that. And it's fine, especially in summertime. It feels good to have that nice sea breeze, keeping you cool. It's not great for having decorations hanging. It's not great for putting up the arch and watching it rock. I've even had arches fall on people. Yeah. So that whole idea of the perfect beach wedding like that, I try to tell people, I try to give them realistic expectations. 9 times out of 10, they don't listen to me. So we have arches being put up with windy, and it doesn't work out. And the wind is never complementary to where the sun is at. So basically, the bride has to make a decision. Does she want the sun in her eyes so she's squinting so that her hair blows back away from her face? Or does she want her back to the sun so that she's not squinting so you can see her eyes? But now her hair is blowing up across her face and up, and yeah. I hate beach weddings. I really hate beach weddings. Gotten to where like I'm only taking every 2 or 3 of them, depending on the month, depending on things like that, because I'm just very rarely do I get the perfect beach elopement, if you will. No, it's too short. I don't want to deal with it. You've got, like I said, the wind going the wrong way, the sun and eyes, biting people to get them to take off their glasses so that you can get a picture of them and not their sunglasses. And there's nothing there. It's sand and water and a million people on the beach. I mean, granted, I take them to an area where there's not as many people, but the beaches are public locations. I can't kick them off. I can't be all like, oh, I'm sorry, we're having a wedding here. You have to leave. We go to the beach access. We go to the area that has the least amount of people. Oh, but people are still walking up and down the beach. So they're still in your picture. So you're just trying to like angle around people. You inevitably have somebody who decides they're going to come onto the beach with all their beach supplies and stuff. And instead of saying, oh, look, there's a wedding going on right here, I'll go over here. No, they're going to set up right there. So now I'm shooting around them. And of course, the bride's mad because now these people are in her picture. Yeah. I don't like beach weddings, but I got one tonight. I had one, it was couple only the other night. I've got 6 guests tonight, so it's not too bad. But I had a couple only, what was it, Thursday night. And it was a beautiful sunset, and it wasn't windy. And the sun wasn't in the bride's eyes. We did have quite a few people on the beach, and usually that section of the beach we don't have that many people, so I guess it was just because of the low wind and whatever else, I don't know. But for some reason there were a lot of people on the beach, on that section of the beach, when usually there isn't. But other than that, the people, it was a real nice evening. So it was one of those rare occasions. So, and of course today is Saturday, so there's going to be people on the beach on a Saturday. Monday, Tuesday evening, perfect. The closer you get to the weekend, and on the weekend, the more people there are. And of course, then parking is a pain in the butt. And yeah. But I had another wedding this week. Like I said, beach weddings are just beach weddings. They're just from the beginning. I just know I'm going to be dealing with issues. But I had a park wedding. And usually I'm pretty, I won't say strict, but I've been taken advantage of so many times that the rules are the rules for the most part. And very rarely do I bend on them. And when asked, I explain why the rule is the rule, and we move on with it. But the couple wanted to do the first look photo, which is fine. I go ahead and I coordinate it. I set it up for them. I do all of that, and that's fine. We agree with the, okay, the groom's going to arrive. Usually it's about 20 minutes prior to the ceremony. And then I have the bride arrive about 10 minutes prior. And that gives me time to set the groom up in an area where there's not a lot of people and the lighting is good and all that kind of stuff. And that way, when the bride gets there, I can lovely. Oh, good thing I left that on there. I forgot to write my number down. I'm busy talking to y'all and not paying attention to what I was doing. That's okay. figured out which number I had. But at any rate, I get it all set up and everything. And then when the bride arrives, she texts me that she's there. And then I get her in place and make sure the groom doesn't see her until she walks to him and all that kind of stuff. So it's something I just automatically do, and I don't mind doing that. When it's a group of people, it's a matter of, when I say group, I'm talking about that 6 to 12, so it's not like it's a huge amount. But usually the groom will arrive with some people, and the bride will arrive with some other people. Not a problem. And I just say, I want groom and guest here at this time, and then I want bride here at that time, and it's not an issue. For some reason this past week that was an issue. And they decided they wanted a private first look without having family witnessing it and stuff, which is fine. I do that all the time. I usually just take them to a different section of the park. It's not a problem. So it's like if you're going to one park and your wedding ceremony is here at the gazebo, we meet over here in the trees, and it's a prettier picture in the trees anyway. So it's not a problem. Well, they started up with can't you just meet us at our hotel? Usually my answer to that is no. We meet at the park. This time is when it's going to be done, blah, 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 blah. For whatever reason, they weren't accepting that answer, and their hotel was on the way to the park. It was right downtown. There was a downtown park where the ceremony was going to be held. And it was a downtown park, downtown hotel, and I had to literally drive right by that hotel to get to the park. And they were just so concerned with it being a private first look that I was like, fine. I got to drive right by there anyway. Just do it that way. And that way we could meet there at the hotel. We could do the first look. And then they could go ahead and go to the park and have ceremony. So the ceremony was supposed to be at 1 o'clock. So I'm like, seeing as we're going to do the first look photo and then like a couple photos around that area, because they had a very large photo package. So I was like, we'll do some more photos right there around that area. Then we'll go ahead and go in, do your ceremony, do your group and family photos, and then go on to the rest of your newlywed photos. So they were excited about that. Everything was good to go. So I get there at like 11:45, and I'm like, are you about ready? Bride doesn't answer me. She's been answering me all morning long. Now all of a sudden she's not answering me. The groom texted me. Well, let me go back a little bit. About 10 o'clock, the bride texts me and tells me that the fireplace at the hotel that she wanted to get her first look pictures taken at is no longer there, that they renovated, and when they did, they removed the fireplace. So now the place doesn't have a fireplace, and so now she doesn't want her pictures there at the hotel. She wanted it somewhere else. So I'm like, fine, so what about this other park? So they were getting married in one park downtown, but there was like a different park, like it's square. It was a square. And it's pretty private, and it was going to be away from their people and everything else. I'm like, all right, so why don't we go ahead and go to Washington Square, and we'll do your ceremony. We'll do your first look picture there. I think I flipped my hand the wrong way. We'll do your first look picture there, and then we will get the, and then we'll do a couple pictures. Like, that's even a better spot to take pictures because it has a cobblestone road. It's got the gas lanterns, a lot of the historical type of stuff. I'm like, we'll take a few pictures there, and then we'll go ahead and go over to the other park and have your ceremony. Okay. Well, how are we both going to get there if he's not supposed to see me until then? Well, the normal answer for that is Uber. Call an Uber. Or a Lyft, or sometimes the hotels will take them, whatever. But I'm not Uber. I don't get paid to do that. So this was like an hour before, or an hour and a half before we were supposed to be meeting. So I'm like, I was already going to go to the hotel anyway. I'll go ahead and pick you up and take you to Washington Square, and we'll go about our business and then go to White Point Gardens, etc. That's the other part they were having their ceremony at. So they're good with that. So at 11:45 I arrive. She's not answering me. 11:55 I get a text from the groom telling me that he's at the other park. He found Washington Square and he was there. And I'm like, okay. And I was like, what's the room number? So he gives me the room number. So I go into the hotel to find the bride, to find out she's not even dressed yet. She's still getting the last of her hair and makeup done. And then wanted me to take pictures of her mom putting a necklace on her and all those sort of things. It's a 12 people wedding. It's an elopement. I usually don't do getting ready photos and all that stuff. I don't like indoor photography, period, but I don't like those photos. Let somebody else take those photos. I don't like to take those photos, and that's why I usually don't go to people's hotels and things like that. But fine, I take the pictures. I'll deal with the editing nightmare later because I hate indoor photography. I'm more of an outdoor photographer. So we go ahead and we get to the So then the bride gets her dress on. We get the picture she wants. She gets her dress on. She turns around to me after her mom puts her necklace on her. She turns around to me and says, well, here, can you do my dress? I'm not a dresser. I'm a photographer. What are you talking about? What do you do? Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know what you need done with your dress. Oh, it's like a corset style. It's just lace it up like shoelaces and then tie the bow at the bottom. I look at Mom. I'm like, Mom? And Mom's all like, oh, I don't know how to do that stuff. I've never worn a corset before. That's all just too fancy for me. Okay, well, considering the fact that it's 12:30 now, and she's not even fully into her dress, guess I'm lacing up this corset if we're going to have a wedding sometime today. So there I am lacing up her corset section of her dress, and then she calls the hair and makeup person back because she didn't get bronzer put on her shoulders. It didn't make a bit of difference in her pictures, the bronzer, let me tell you. But regardless, I'm not going to be too negative. But finally, 12:45, we're headed out the door of the hotel. The park is like less than a mile away, so it's not like it's that big a deal. So it's like, okay, so we'll go to the park. I told her to walk behind me, but be behind me about 20 feet and where to stop at so that I could get the groom set up because he's just sitting there in the park. He's been sitting there since noon. So he's been sitting in the park for 45 minutes waiting on this, right? And so we finally get there and get the first look photo and take a picture of them on the cobblestones. And now it's like 12:55. So it's almost 1 o'clock when the ceremony's supposed to be starting at the other park, which is only another half a mile down the road. So it's not like we had huge distances to cover. But I'm like, okay, so I look at the groom and I'm like, so where did you park at? So I could give him directions on the easiest way because of a bunch of one-way streets and stuff, which is the easiest way for him to get to White Point Gardens. So I'm like, Where'd you park at? And he looks at me and he goes, I was dropped off. Really? So not only did you guys want a ride from the hotel to the park, but now you want a ride from the one park to the other park. Well, thank goodness I don't have a bunch of crap in my car and I can actually tote you around because, I mean, obviously we didn't have time to wait for Uber or anything like that. So I'm like, okay, I guess y'all are coming with me then. I was completely flabbergasted that they would actually just think that was okay, just that I would just automatically be able to just tote them around. And it's like, I didn't, but if I did have the puppy crate in the back seat of the car, there's no way that the groom would have fit back there, plus the puppy crate, plus the bride in the front seat, plus there was not. Luckily, I didn't have it in there because that was on Wednesday and it was Friday. He had his vet appointment yesterday, so it's in there now, but it's like, luckily it wasn't in there right then. But I could not believe that they had tooled me around and through and done all of that. And then I send out an email, and it's mainly for my team more than it is me. Because, I mean, I make my money off the wedding. There's enough in the price for me to make my share plus pay my team. So, I mean, I don't do it for me. I do it mainly for my team. So my officiant, and sometimes like I'm a coordinator, I do a coordination role. And at that point I have somebody else do the photography. Or if it's a large group of people on the beach and I'm like, okay, God, I'll be like, Mike, I need you to do the photography on this one. And I get him to do the photography because I just don't want to deal with it. So I never know when I'm going to, most of the time I do the photography, but sometimes I'll get him to do it because I just don't want to deal with the amount of people and group photos and stuff like that. And particularly at the beach, I don't want to deal with it. So I want my team to get it. But I send out an email and people even respond to it, so I know they get it. And pretty 95% sure that they even responded to this email, so I know they saw the information. But I tell them 1 week prior to the wedding, I send out this email. It's an automatic email thing. And it basically tells them different things that they need to bring with them or things they need to go ahead and decide on now. Like who's going to carry the rings. I suggest the groom because he's got pockets. Who's got the marriage license. Again, I suggest the groom because he's there before the bride and that way the officiant can get it from him. But those sort of things. Especially to drink water because especially if you're going to be on a beach wedding, you're going to get dehydrated. But one of the things I mentioned is cash for tips. And I would say 90% of the time, it's not an issue. And I would say about 10% of the time, people are like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I forgot to get cash. Do you take Venmo or PayPal or something else that I can pay you through? And it's like, yeah, sure, whatever. And then I just take it and give it out to my team from there. So it's like, if they're like, oh, and they give me a $100 tip, I just split it amongst the team. It's not a big deal. But if someone's going to ask me to do a bunch of extra work, can you please edit this? Can you please edit that? I think I have flabby arms. My first reaction to that is to one, look at their arms, and to two, look at what dress they decided to wear. If you're uncomfortable about your arms, why are you wearing a halter style dress? That just doesn't even make sense. They make plenty of beautiful dresses with just a little bit of sleeve on them or something. That if you're concerned about your arms, it's like if whatever body part I am uncomfortable with, I'm going to go ahead and cover that. I don't understand people. And of course everybody wants me to make them look thinner and younger, but that's, no big deal. But at any rate, the thing is if you're going to make requests, like some of my beach couples will ask me to make the sunset look a little bit more colorful or whatever. It's extra editing. It's not the end of the world. It's part of my job, but it is extra editing. So if you're going to ask extra from me, then yeah, you should be tipping me. So, hey, can you make the sunset look brighter? Here's $50. Okay. I'll make the sunset look brighter, But these people, after me toting them around and stuff, and then afterwards, I was like, are you wanting me to weave you through? Because they had the downtown package where we basically take a bunch of pictures downtown. It's called my Capturing Charleston package. And we wander around the downtown area and grab the different historical elements and things like that and just take a bunch of pictures with all kinds of different backgrounds of downtown and the historic area and stuff. So as we're going through, so I'm like, do you want me to weave you through back to your hotel? Or is someone going to leave you a car? And they look at me. I mean, I thought that was a plain enough hint, right? I mean, no. Oh, no, you can drive us back. Ah, how generous of you to allow me to drive you back to your hotel. Granted, I had to drive right by it to leave downtown to go home anyway, but just presumption. And then after all of that, and of course she wanted me to cover up her arms. She had fat arms, and to make sure she, and to, what can I do? Is there some editing things I can do to make her not have a double chin? And let's see, what was the other thing? Oh, bags under her eyes. That sometimes she gets this hooded effect and has bags under her eyes. And I'm like, okay. So asking for a bunch of editing, asking me to basically come to her hotel and take pictures, run over almost an hour late to everything, and have me tote her around everywhere as far as driving them everywhere. No tip. No tip at all. I was like, okay. So then they were like, when are we going to get our pictures? I was like, let's see. I go on my retreat on the 22nd. I don't want it on my desk that, when I'm on my retreat and doing my thing, me worried about their pictures. So I was like, you'll have them by next Friday. Usually I have about a 5 to 7 day turnaround. I know. I took it all the way out to the max because I was like, I am not dealing with your photos or you guys again until right before I leave, so that I don't have to deal with it. So that was my crazy wedding of the week. I just got all my threads kitted for that. Let me throw it in its project bag real quick. All right, so that's the autumn heart all kitted up now. So I am going to kit up another one. I'm probably not going to stay on with you the whole time because I'm sure you guys are going to get bored of me by now. But I wanted to give you guys a sneak peek. I'll do more information on it on Tuesday. But my next thing I'm kitting up is my own design. It is my Christmas stitch along. So it's going to be completely free. And no hard deadlines or anything like that. I'm going to start it. I'm just going to release the pattern for free in a Facebook group on November 1. So I wanted to kit it up and maybe get a couple stitches started up on it while at the retreat, maybe. I don't know. But here is a sneak peek into the design. So if you are interested in joining the stitch along for this, make sure it's all on there, yeah. Then I will go ahead and put the information on there, and you can by all means join me with that. I would love to have everybody join me, and we'll go from there. But yeah, but like I said, it's going to be free and just kind of a stitch along. Merry Christmas to you. Have fun with it. Like this is, we're starting at November 1. That gives us plenty of time. I'm going to stitch it up for a gift for somebody. So if you want to stitch it up for a gift, or if you want it for yourself or whatever, there you go. So it is, I put on the Facebook group the first release as far as the back of the page information, this the stitch count, the sizes, and all of the colors, threads needed and everything. So that is on the Facebook group under files, so you can get that information and start getting your materials together while I haven't released a thing yet. I have decided to go with an 18 count fabric. It's more yellow than it's showing up on the camera, but it is, let me see if I can get it over here. There we go, it kind of shows it up a little bit better, but it's just kind of that variegated woody look to it that I thought would be nice. So, and Lost Toss said it worked well, so I went with that. So that is the fabric that I am going to be stitching it on. But I will go ahead and chat with you a little bit about that and some other things while, for a few minutes at any rate. Like, so I'm not going to keep you on during all of this one, because I'm sure you all have better things to do with your weekend than listen to me blabble on. But let me know what you're thinking about the Christmas stitch along in the notes, or in the comments, I guess. I'll have I'll put the link in the video as well as in the description, so that you can go to that and I said start getting the stuff together. It's a nice simple design. It shouldn't take too long to stitch up, I wouldn't think. Working on another design right now. It's more springy though. I just, with all of the seasonal holidays designs and stuff like that, I was like, you know, I'm just not really over it because I'm still stitching it and stuff, but I was over designing anything related to the holidays. So I was like, it's more of a, it's got some flowers on it, that's why I'm saying spring, but it's not really spring either. It's, I've limited it down to, I think it's 5, maybe 6 colors. I didn't want to have it too many, and of course you can always change that up to whatever suits you, but it does have some floral aspects to it. But it's a combination of the black work and cross stitch. So hopefully I'll have that done in the next month. I've got it, majority of it done. I've got it's broken into 5 pieces, and I've got 4 of the 5 pieces completely done. So I should be able to get it done here shortly and get a new design out for everybody. But I thought a kit with me would be a good time to just kind of chat a little bit and stuff. I gave you some stories at least. Always good stories about the puppy. Always good stories about the puppy. He's a cutie. He's up to 15 pounds now. When I took him to the vet, they said he was 12 3 weeks ago. Now he's up to 15. And he got his last round of puppy shots. So he's now eligible to, the vet said wait 2 or 3 days for the I guess, medicine to go into effect or whatever. I don't know. But he said wait about 2 or 3 days and then we can start actually taking him to the park and things like that. So that will be fun. It'll give us a new thing to do and do with him. And it's getting a little bit scaredy catty when we go. He's fine in the backyard. He's fine in the house. He loves seeing people. He's not afraid of people. But when it comes down to you go outside out front, if he'll go out a little bit out front, like to help you like grab something out of the car or whatever, he'll ride with, what have I done here with this piece? Okay, got it. Sorry. So he'll go out to the car to like, if I've got groceries and I'm like, oh, help me get this load of groceries or something like that. And he'll just like, go out because it's like maybe 10 steps from where I park my car, from where the door is to the backyard. So he's like barely out of his area. And so he'll go out there like that. Or if it's a matter of the trash can's like an extra 10 steps away. So sometimes it's like, okay, come out with me while I take out the trash. But not like all the way down to the mailbox or anything. That's just like around the corner of the house. So he doesn't mind that, and he doesn't get scared with that. But as soon as you put the leash on him and try to get him to go like halfway down the driveway to go get the mail, let's go get the mail, buddy, and he goes to the end of the carport and he'll go to like where the trash can is around the corner a little bit, and then it's brakes on. Done. Not going any further. Sometimes I get him about halfway down the driveway, but does not want to go all the way out to the mailbox, does not want to go down the street. And I'm like, come on, we can go for a walk. I want to walk. No. No. So we are having issues with the leash training, walking thing. He's just not wanting to do that. So we're hoping that by being able to take him to the park, we can put him, in his crate, his travel crate, and get him to the park. And then since it's a different place, different sounds, different, not the safety of home, because he immediately starts pulling. I want to go back home. I want to go back in the house. I want to go back to my backyard. It's like, that's his safety area. So once we get him to the park where there's not home, there's not that, where the safety has got to be me, not the house, that we're hoping that that'll kind of open him up more to the whole walking thing and stuff. So he'll see that, oh, okay, it's fun to go to the park. It's fun to go places and do things and stuff like that. But he'll be 13 weeks tomorrow. So he's only 13 weeks old. So we're having to, after having 14 years of one dog and now all of a sudden having a 13-week-old, it's like, oh my goodness. Trying to remember, okay, is this normal? Is this fine? And the vet's telling us everything's fine. He's great. I mean, and he's very friendly with the vet and, the girls there and everything else. But like I said, I'm like, he just puts on the leash and it's like brakes on. But the vet seems to think he's going to be fine, especially once we get him out to a park or something. So he's like, just take him to a dog park and just let him play with other dogs. He's like, don't try to train him. Just let him play. He's like, it's a fenced in area. Let him run. Let him play. Let him, it's like, okay. But I really want to walk. One of the things that I miss is taking the dog for a walk. So it's like, he really needs to learn the whole leash thing so that we can go for a walk, because I like to go for a walk. But it'll come. It takes consistency and patience and all that kind of stuff. And it's just new things, time-consuming things, and it's fine. I mean, I wanted the puppy. I'm glad I have him. It's not like I'm upset about that at all or anything, but it does take a lot more time than I had thought it was going to. Just all the little aspects. Like I said, I just figured, okay, lunchtime, we go for a walk. And I knew at first it wouldn't be very far, or I'm not even expecting, perfection of, oh, you'll next to me and all that. No, let's just walk. Let's go for a walk, even if it's just down the 3 houses and back, just to where you start doing it. And right now he won't. So hopefully soon we can get that rectified and get to where we can go for a nice walk at lunchtime and stuff like that. So that'll be my next challenge, is getting that going. But hopefully that will work out. We're going to take him to the park tomorrow when my husband gets home, and give that a try. See if he goes into total freak out mode or break mode or what he's going to do. But with him being only 15 pounds, at this point we just pick him up. But that's not always going to be the case. He's going to be anywhere from about 40 to 50 pounds. So it's going to be a little bit. He's going to be too heavy for me just to pick you up and carry. He's going to have to walk. But hopefully he can just get his confidence and stuff like that and discover how fun it is and want to do it. Because right now he don't want to. Alright, I'm going to finish this color here, and then I think I'm going to let you guys all go, since it's been about an hour and you have your own stitching or kitting to do. Tuesday's video, like I said, I'm going to have some FFOs for you. So the framed ones are good. The other ones, let's just say I'll be sending more of them off to Artie the Vintage Stitcher or somebody, because yeah, my skills aren't there. And that's okay. Or I gotta watch some more videos on how to finish so I can do a better job at it. So, but it'll all come. It will all come. All right, I'm going to let you guys go. Let me take off my glasses so you can actually see my face instead of my reading glasses. I had LASIK surgery about, I don't know, 10 years ago maybe. I don't know. At any rate, I had LASIK surgery, so I see far away great. But right here, can't see nothing. So yeah, the readers go on. When I'm stitching, readers are on. And if I'm stitching high count, then I got the readers and a magnifier. So, yeah. Getting old sucks, but as some people say, better than the alternative, right? But I will see you all on Tuesday, where I will update you on my whips. I'll update you on my FFOs. I do have another finish in there too that I didn't FFO. So I've got a finish, I've got some whips, I've got an FFO, I got 3 or 4 FFOs. I did a couple of them today. I got a little bit of haul, not very much, but a little bit. And yeah. So I will see you all on Tuesday. Have a great weekend. Thanks for sharing it with me. Appreciate everybody. Thanks. Bye.